The history of the FA Cup in 90 minutes. The 67th minute.
Billy Smith was heartbroken. He'd helped Huddersfield Town get all the way to the 1920 FA Cup final. But 3 weeks before the big game, he was sent off in a league match. He was suspended, and he missed the final. Huddersfield missed him too. They lost 1-0 to Aston Villa. But 2 years later, Huddersfield reached the final again, and this time Billy played. He won a penalty in the 67th minute. But as he placed the ball on the spot, the Preston goalkeeper James Mitchell tried to distract him by jumping up and down and waving his arms. Billy's teammate, Clem Stevenson, told him, "Never mind the dancing devil, just shove it in the net." Billy did. And for the first time in their history, Huddersfield Town won the FA Cup.
Who'll make history this year? The Emirates FA Cup on BT Sport. Be there.
The history of the FA Cup in 90 minutes. The 5th minute.
The first FA Cup final to be broadcast live was in 1927. It was on the radio. There was no TV in those days. To help listeners picture the game, they were given a diagram of the pitch. It was divided into squares, and as the radio commentators described the game, they'd explain which square the ball was in, so listeners could follow its progress around the pitch. In those days, passing the ball back to your goalkeeper was still allowed. So in the 5th minute, when the ball was returned to the keeper, the commentator duly announced, "And it's back to square one." The 1927 final wasn't the greatest game, but it still created history. It gave us the phrase, "Back to square one."
Who'll make history this year? The Emirates FA Cup on BT Sport. Be there. The history of the FA Cup in 90 minutes. The 42nd minute.
You'd never felt pain like it. You knew straight away your leg was broken. You left the field on a stretcher in the 42nd minute, and Blackburn lost the FA Cup final. Your dream of getting your hands on the famous old trophy was over. You had to quit football. But with the insurance money, you set up a business. The business took off. You bought your local club, Wigan, and in 2013 they reached the FA Cup final and faced the richest team in the country. But with the 90 minutes up, the scores were still level, and then Ben Watson, the Wigan substitute, scored. A player who'd missed most of the season with a broken leg. And 53 years later, you finally got your hands on the FA Cup.
Who'll make history this year? The Emirates FA Cup on BT Sport. Be there. The history of the FA Cup in 90 minutes. The 55th minute.
I'm Ray Crawford. Everybody remembers me for one great match. 1971, 5th round. We're playing the great Leeds United. They were the best side around. I was playing for Colchester, 4 divisions below them. I was 35, I was probably the oldest. The press called us Dad's Army. We had a plan and it came off. I got the first and then the second, and Dave Simmons got the third, 10 minutes into the second half. And then Leeds started to play, and they were a good side. They used to knock a ball around. Norman Hunter got the first for them, Johnny Giles got the second, and then Smithy, he pulled out a great save, and we won the match 3-2. What a day that was.
Who'll make history this year? The Emirates FA Cup on BT Sport. Be there.